especially for all my viewers, of which there are many and growing absolutely exponentially every week. I am so excited and delighted that you find my message a worthwhile one. I want to say this to you before we really get into the nitty-gritty of the show. If I were in charge of the world, it would be so much better. It would be a better place for all of us to be, because I would not have any political correctness BS at all, and I would absolutely, positively, without doubt, do the things that are required to do, rather than pretending they're something they're not, as in the beheading of an American citizen yesterday in Oklahoma by a Muslim convert, an American who converted to Islam, whose website, by the way, had tons of pictures of people being beheaded everywhere, who has a tattoo of an Islam saying on his abdomen, who was fired from his wonderful job in a food processing plant, which is where the person he beheaded also worked, who was fired because he'd been spending time trying to convert everybody to Islam. However, our benighted, ridiculous, stupid government chooses to call it workplace violence. Now, by this time, you all know why that happens. Because our president is a Muslim. And does he want to really believe that a possible son of Obama could have actually beheaded one of the American citizens that we are of? Yes. He wants to pretend that that doesn't happen. First thing that came on your mainstream media was, hey, don't blame all the Muslims. Well, who was blaming all the Muslims? Not me, not you, but we should. Bottom line here is these people are insane. They're just completely crazy. And that should be clearly evident to you because our president is one of them. He is also completely insane and completely crazy. All you have to do is pay attention to anything he does, one thing he does, any day. Pick anything. He is so not the president of America. Maybe Saudi Arabia, maybe Bahrain, maybe Liberia and Nigeria, where he just dispatched $550 million and 3,000 American personnel, so that hopefully they'll get sick. That's my real opinion. And come back and disseminate the Ebola virus all over America. Because this pestilence in our White House proves again daily, A, he should never have been elected, ever, and B, since he was elected, he has done nothing but undermine our Constitution in every single thing he does. Please, I ask you, take a moment and take a deep breath. Can you think of anything in the last 6 years that Barack Hussein Obama has done that has benefited you? Even one. Think hard. Even one thing in all this time. Can you think of any? No, you cannot, because there aren't any. The fact that this creature is now, at this moment in time, going off to another fundraiser, even though we just had an American citizen beheaded, and has not mentioned it once, hasn't mentioned it at all, went to the United Nations last week and gave a speech in which he excoriated Israel, he made fun of America, he belittled us. Yes, he did, in front of all the rest of the people of the world who were there, which we pay for, by the way. This is what your president is all about. This man is rapidly approaching 18 trillion with a T in debt. 18 trillion. Your great-great-great-great-grandchildren, if we have any, we even have a country, will be paying that debt. Your money is worth less every single second of every day because of this man's policies. He has added to our debt, just him alone, more than all of our presidents combined before him. Does not that tell you something? If you're not getting the vibe yet, then you are obviously one of the marijuana heads especially in Colorado, who really do not know what is going on in our country. Let's take the Mexican border, which is wide open. I truly believe, and I will predict, that over the next 6 to 9 months, if this creature is allowed to remain in office, you will have more than 1 million people on our southern border. That's really what I believe is happening. We have no southern border. Our Border Patrol has been told they cannot do anything about these people, and these people are coming more and more every day, and they just walk across the border. And even if they're stopped and they're told to report back and given a little piece of paper that says you are due back in court in 30 to 60 days to decide whether or not you are able to stay here with your asylum claim, they never return. They never come back. And oh, by the way, spreading all across the Midwest is a very strange virus that is making children very sick. It's only been there for the past 2 months, and it's somewhat similar to polio, although they're not quite sure yet, or at least they're not telling you yet, that it may in fact cause paralysis, as polio did, because most of these people walking across our border never had a vaccination for anything, including polio. So of course, I don't believe in coincidences. If we've been having this for 2 months, which we have, and if all of these people have been walking across our border for the past 2 months and being flown around the country illegally and dumped all over little towns all over the country with no warning, and our school districts are being forced to put them into school, even though many of them are not children. Many of them are 20, 22, 25, 40. But our school districts are not allowed to ask them how old they are, and our school districts are not allowed to ask them for vaccination proof, although as an American citizen, you try that. That's only one of many things. I digress. Let's go to Andrew Tomaresi, who is our Marine in a piss-pot Mexican jail right now. He has been there almost 6 months. Last week, he fell in his cell and broke his arm. He is not allowed a radio. He is not allowed a television. He is not allowed a computer. His mother was on television yesterday begging the abomination in our White House to make a phone call. He makes plenty of phone calls. He calls to set up golf dates with his friends. He calls the president of Mexico to discuss the plight of all the illegals roaming around our country illegally, to make sure that the Mexican president understands we're doing everything we can to help them because, hey, they're illegals. He also, in case you don't know, and you never will because you're mainstream, bought and paid for, owned and controlled by the federal government, will never tell you. He has now, as of last week, told the military, informed the Pentagon, no help from Congress, because haven't you noticed, he never asks Congress for anything. But he has now told the Pentagon that they have to allow illegal aliens into our military service. If this doesn't back you up and scare the living crap out of you, it should. You are allowing people that have no allegiance to this country to be in our military. My God, please, give me a break. Was Fort Hood not enough? Was that not enough for you to wake up? This man is setting us up for a complete takeover, if man indeed he is. I don't happen to think he is. I think he's a demon, a real, actual demon, in our face. He is the face of evil. Under that nappy mess on his head, if you took it off, you're going to see 666. Because if ever a son of Satan walked among us, he's it. That's only a few of the wonderful things that he's done for you. He has now said he doesn't need Congress to declare war. Again, he has gone and given money and arms to people that as of last year, he was telling everybody were the rebels that we were not supporting. Now, in a 12-month period of time, we are going to arm and support them. We have no idea who the hell they are. We have no idea what they stand for. Absolutely none. And by the way, if this isn't enough to make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, he told Rouhani from Iran this week that it's really up to them if they think they should have nukes or not. What? He has told them, yes, of course, Israel's not going to put up with that. Israel will blow them off the face of the map the first time a centrifuge twirls. Right now they have 19,000 centrifuges. They are asking for permission to have 190,000. Oh, please, can you not explain this to anybody with half a brain? What the hell do they need 190,000 centrifuges for, if not for nuclear enrichment? Of course it's for nuclear enrichment. And let's go back to the lady that just got beheaded this week here in Oklahoma. If you allow the insane Ayatollahs of Iran to have a nuclear weapon, there won't be a planet Earth. What can you not understand from that? We will all be blown to smithereens. They don't mind blowing themselves up. They blow their babies to bits. There won't be any of us because they'll blow the whole damn place up because they think they're going to paradise. We don't get to go, of course. We'll just be bits and pieces floating around the universe. So this past week, your wonderful leader-in-chief, that illegal Muslim son of Satan, has done all of this in a week. In a week! Now, if you don't understand the need for immediate, direct intervention, as in an in-your-face intervention, as in you need to arrest that sucker today, and he needs to be arrested, brought in front of court, have a court martial, and hey, firing squads work all the time. This thing is destroying America with your permission. In fact, with your help, because you're not paying any attention. So you better wise up, because if we do happen to have a country still in about 18 months, I want you to look back on these videos and say, wow, Holly Meredith told me so. Either you will have done something about it, and our country will still be forging forward, or you will have tuned in to the thugs playing NFL football, and they are all thugs. They're not Newt Rockney anymore. This is Holly Meredith. I'm getting ready to go to my first break. Please come back, so again, you can be educated for a change. Hello and welcome to New York Nails and Skin Salon, located on beautiful Linton Boulevard in downtown Delray Beach. This salon is open 7 days a week. Yes, 7 days. If you need the finest skincare and the finest manicures and pedicures that you can get, you want to call Linda at 561-274-7470. I want to say it to you one more time, 7 days a week. The finest skincare and nail care that you can get. Give her a call. Once again, it's New York Nails, and the number is 561-274-7470.
Hi there, I'm Annie from Addictions Clothing. Welcome to my store. I have been in business many years. I have an eclectic variety of clothing for all sizes, all ages. We are moderately priced and we're currently in our annual sale. We would hope that you come and find lots of goodies because you won't be able to beat our prices. They're unbelievable. And our hours are from 10 to 4, Tuesday through Friday, or Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4. And this is Nicholas. He works here on Wednesdays. He has good times with the customers and he entertains the customers as well.
Hello, welcome back to the Holly Meredith Show, and I hope you're sitting down because you're going to need to be. I want to bring up a couple other things that this charmer, this real snake in our White House did this week. He said in an interview that he wouldn't even consider running for a third term in office. This moron tells everybody that he's a constitutional professor. I have had on Facebook running for more than 5 months an ad that says, if anybody has been Barack Obama's student when he was teaching constitutional law, all I want to know is your name and that you can verify that you were a student in his classes, and I'll pay you $1,000. Not one single person has responded, and I will tell you that I don't believe for 1 nanosecond that he ever taught anything to anybody ever. I believe him to be a complete and total fabrication because it was so bold, so unequivocally in your face that most people would never dream that it would happen. But the liberal progressive media who made the call to get him elected along with all the liberal progressives, we all know who they are, starting with Zuckerberg and working your way down, all of those people made a call that they could pull this and get away with it in America because most Americans today just are not that into their country. You're just not into it. You're like that movie, he's just not into you. You're just not into America, and you better be, or there isn't going to be an America for you not to be into. This man said he wasn't going to run for a third term, even though in our Constitution you can only run for 2 terms, because we stopped it after Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our original communist prick, after Franklin Delano Roosevelt had 4 terms and just about destroyed the country. That's when we changed it so that you cannot have more than 2 terms. But not with him. Hey, the Constitution is anything that old Barack wants it to be. Evidently, again, because you let him do it. And I believe sincerely and wholeheartedly that you let him do it because he's black. And that's the only reason that he's not being dragged out of our office by a crowbar. You don't want to upset the Negroes of the country. You don't want to have race riots. Although, what do you think we're having in Ferguson at this moment in time? Yes, yes, yes. They're burning down buildings again. They also had to put the poor police chief in the hospital because he was trying to walk with the protesters in Ferguson and say, I'm sorry that this happened. He was trying to give a heartfelt apology. Not good enough. Not what they want to hear. Not when they can burn buildings and loot. They would rather burn buildings and loot. And I say that because in Indianapolis, we had a similar occurrence in which a white person was killed by 3 black thugs. Didn't hear about any riots there, did you? How about Hannah Graham, a lovely 18-year-old straight-A student at the University of Virginia who made the fatal, and I underline fatal, who made the fatal error of talking to a dreadlocked black named Jesse, who was the last person seen with her. She has been disappearing for 2 weeks now, and that means she's dead somewhere, without a doubt. He was initially arrested and questioned and then released because you have to have some kind of proof. He was released even though they knew for a certainty that he was the last person who had been seen with her. And he took off doing an O.J. Simpson in which he grabbed his grandmother for cover and jumped in an SUV and drove away. Well, in the interim period of time, the police got another search warrant for his apartment and discovered, lo and behold, other items which could only have been Hannah Graham's. So obviously this piece of crap is the last person who was with her, and he knows what happened to her, and he knows where she is. He took off. They found him in Galveston, Texas. They extradited him back. By the way, as stupid as he was camping on the beach. They extradited him back, brought him back, and now he will stand trial. He's not talking because he's going to hang out for an immunity deal. He's going to say, like they always do, I will tell you where the body of Hannah Graham is, but you have to grant me immunity from the death penalty. I say hell no. I say hell no. It doesn't really matter where Hannah's body is, unfortunately. She's still dead. And dead cannot be replicated. She's dead. So I say cook this sucker. And I mean cook him on television. Let's have an open night of fry the bastard. Because these people keep on doing these terrible things all over the country, like Indianapolis, where they shot a 61-year-old man because he owned a sporting goods store and they wanted his guns. 3 black thugs. Again, have you seen any rioting in Indianapolis? There's a dead white person. Again, have you seen any rioting in Virginia where this girl has been gone for 2 weeks and everybody knows she's dead? Have you seen any rioting from the white people? If I were her parents, I'd be rioting. Have you seen any of that? No, you have not. You only see it where the blacks are. You don't see it anywhere else because they feel they can get away with it. Because they don't get arrested when they burn and when they loot people's property. Because it's a taken given that that's just because they are what they are and we have to deal with it. Well, we need to deal with it and not the way they're dealing with it. So could they be sons of Obama? No, because he's not capable of producing a son. Could they be, I don't know, just what they are, Aborigines from Africa? Yeah, that's what they are. That's what they've always been. 51 years of trying to turn them into something else isn't making it, so let's forget about it. And go back to the one we have in our White House, who said he couldn't possibly even consider running for a third term, although it's completely unconstitutional, because his wife wouldn't allow it. I want you to understand that this is what's called a plaint. It's called a plaint to see what kind of a response it gets. If it gets a negative response or a positive response, and then they build on that, and they've been doing it since 1961, when these people, and you know who I'm talking about, got together and figured out that the best thing to do to get everything they wanted out of the country and upturn our Constitution on its head was to go to Mississippi and send the Freedom Riders to Mississippi. They knew when they sent those guys, hell would break loose, and it did. But they sent them there on purpose so that hell would break loose. It was all planned, all paid activists, just like the freaks wandering around New York this past week with all their climate. If you don't do climate control change, what are they going to do? Most of them don't work anyway. They're paid activists. Yes, the Democratic Party pays these freaks to go out and walk around and ruin wherever you are because they left so much trash behind, it took 4 days for them to clean it up. Yes, these are also the people that defecate on policemen's cars. These are really charming people you want in your neighborhood. No, they are not. Going back to where we are in the land of Obama. Yes, the land of Obama. Not only do we have him sending our men and our money to Liberia and Nigeria and Sierra Leone to fight Ebola, which is something our soldiers are not supposed to do in the best of times. Where, by the way, are we getting all this money? Every time you have a congressional session, they tell you that, hey, Social Security is going broke. Well, if you have millions for this country and billions for that country and another billion for the climate control BS at the end, where are they getting all of this money? I'll tell you where they get it. Because we are overwhelmed with money. Let's have them start paying down our debt so the money we have is worth something. When you're paying $4 a pound for ground meat when you go to the store, and you are, when you're paying $4 a pound, and yet the little dwarf from the Federal Reserve, Janet Yellen, comes on and tells you, oh, there's no inflation, you should be bitch smacking her around the planet. She knows damn well we have inflation. I'm getting ready to go to another break. Finally, if you pay attention, you aren't going to be a mushroom kept in the dark and fed bullshit.
Hello, good morning. I'm Ray Flo. This is my storage, Lake Worth Storage. We've been here, I guess, about 8 years. It's been great. Love Florida. Love the storage business. I was meant for this business. Come with me. Let's go inside. And here's the fantastic staff. Mr. Josh runs it. Hello, Josh.
Hello.
And the quiet one. Look here, Marge. Look this way. Look this way. There you go. All right. So, well, there is a lot to run in storage. There is no silver bullet to make it successful. We've been very successful. So, you got to have a few things, you know. You got to have, of course, the price has got to be right. You got to have a nice staff, congenial people. We have that. Place has to be clean. We have that. And we have to treat people with dignity and very nicely, and we do that. So we've got, you know, the price, the staff. We've been here a long time. We've got a good record. Above all, though, it really should be secure. And we have very little problems with that here. We're very secure. We've got 14 cameras there and some more here. So yeah, we're set for the public. We're set up. Excellent.
Hi, and welcome back to the Holly Meredith Show. I want to remind you, if you enjoy my message, and how could you not? I mean, how could you not? When you're actually getting educated and hearing the truth for a change. If you like my message, I want you to support my sponsors. They're all people who share our beliefs in a free America, and they are on my show for both reasons. They're on my show so they can be seen by people who share our philosophy, and they're on my show because they want to support me. So if you like my show and you want to support me as well, please contact us and let us know that you're interested in being on the show as an advertiser. And if you like my show and you're one of the many people who subscribe to it, please use the people that are on my show. Please go to see their product. Please go to Addictions in Pompano Beach. This is a wonderful boutique store. You don't really get to see all the beautiful clothing that she has in her store. It's fabulous. It's better than Nordstrom's at a third of the price. And again, I am wearing something from it. I try to use everybody that I have on my show. I try to use all of their services at all times. This is, again, something I want you to do if you like the message. Now, before I end the show, I want to tell you a little bit more with a little bit of jocularity. There's a good word for you. I don't know if you're aware of who General Patton is, because unfortunately we don't get taught history anymore that I can see in school. We get taught how to add and take 16 hours to come up with 1 and 1 equals 2, but with the way they do it now, 1 and 1 equals whatever you say it does. When General Patton ended World War II, he was so unhappy with Eisenhower and our Congress at the time because they were so integrated with communism. He was coming back to our country when he was killed, and yes, he was assassinated, when he was killed because he was so worried at that time, 1945-46. He was so worried about what was going to happen to our country because of the infiltration of communists into both our media, even then, and into our Congress, even then. It isn't just something that happened overnight. Our country has been on full frontal assault for a long time. So you really have to understand that all of the tenets that make up our magnificent America, everything in the Constitution that works, has slowly been eroded away, turning you into a peon, supporting our own aristocracy in Washington, D.C. You know, they don't even have their own homes in their own states anymore. Most of your senators spend all of their time in Washington, D.C. with the residence that you pay for. Yes, you do. And they live a magnificent life. They live in gated communities. Their children go to private schools. They don't pay for the finest health care in the world. You do. So we're back to where we have been for quite some time. If you watch the Holly Meredith show, unlike watching CBS, NBC, ABC, NPR, whatever, they must have little coffee clutches in the morning where they decide what they're going to talk about because they never tell the truth. Ever. You have not heard on any of those stations one word, not one word, about the fact that that person who beheaded the woman, an American citizen in Oklahoma, is a Muslim. You have not heard one word. All you hear is workplace violence, just like Fort Hood. It was a Muslim terrorist act. That's what it was. And if it can happen in Oklahoma, it can happen in New Jersey. In fact, it did happen in New Jersey 19 months ago. You didn't hear about that one either, because it was another lunatic Muslim who beheaded in broad daylight on a street in New Jersey. He beheaded 2 Coptic Egyptians because he recognized them because he's a Muslim, and they're Christian. Coptic Egyptians are Christian. He beheaded both of them right there in the street. Have you heard a word about that? Why, no, you have not. Because he's a Muslim, just like our president. And because he's rapidly beheading people, just like the nutcase in Oklahoma. And you're not going to hear anything about that either. Just like the people in Boston that got to fly back and forth more than 9 times before they blew people up. What does it take for you to get it? When will you finally realize what is inhabiting our White House? It's not for us. It's not a person that you want there. In fact, it is a person. It is not the President of the United States. It is not legal. I've been saying that for a very long time. This is not a legal president. This is the biggest charade farce that has ever been perpetrated on this country. And we have to do something about it now. So if you want to be known as an American, or you want to be known as a patsy Make your call. Be an American. When you get your opportunity to vote, it's coming quickly. Throw Harry Reid out on his ass and put people back into our Senate that are not rhinos. Put people in there who will do something about this thing in our White House. Holly Meredith closing my show. You'll see another one next week, even more interesting.
Hi, I'm Maria of My Clean Home Services. Been in business for 5 years now. I specialize in residential and I also do commercial. If you need any references, I can provide that for you upon request. You can give me a call at 954-520-4282 if you have any questions. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Hi, welcome to Muscle Beach, located at 501 East Atlantic Avenue, Delray Beach. We'd like you to join us for some of the finest, hand-picked, shipped daily Prince Edward Island mussels, along with the freshest seafood Delray has to offer.